Hello, and welcome to the last part of the AutoCAD series, where I'm going to finish up this project and show you all of the remaining tools that we kind of need to use to be able to finish up. So right now we have a plan, we have a section. Those still need some work, and those still need some additional information, but most of the stuff that we want is already there. The thing that's missing is the axonometry drawing. So I'm going to do exactly that right now, and then we will continue on with adding additional information and basically extracting the drawings into a PDF. So to start off, axonometry or isometric view is basically a view from the top. Sometimes it's from 3/4 of the top, but in this case, we're just going to be using some weird angles, I guess. And a very fast example would be if I have a rectangle and I'll just draw it completely randomly, just some sort of random sized rectangle. And let me switch to thick line just so that we're kind of consistent. Let's say this rectangle represents the top of our shape of our box, right? So if we look at the box from the top, it's a rectangle, right? So what if I want to show an isometric view of it? Well, first thing that I do is I check what kind of angles I can use. So I can use 45 to 45 degree angles for the walls, or I can use 60 to 30 degrees. Right? That's usually typically that's the angles that you use. So I will show you both of them, and I'll just show you both of those variations. So basically for 45 degree angles, you can't really do like drawing them with without any assistance is kind of tricky. Well, it's not tricky, it's just that you first need to draw it horizontally, right? Some sort of a line, and then you need to rotate it every time by -45. Well, that's the other way around, but you get what I mean. You know, to get a 45 degree angle, you just kind of draw the line horizontally and you rotate it. That's not nice. Instead, what we can do is we can use this polar tracking widget right here in the bottom. It's F10, the shortcut is F10. So I will enable it by clicking on it. And also we can expand it, and we can see. So you can expand it by clicking this small triangular icon right here. And once you expand it, you can see the angles that it's going to let you choose, right? So it's basically in increments. So you can have like 90 degree increments. You can have 45 degree increments, 30 degree increments, 25.5 degree increments, and so on. So for an axo that is 45 to 45 degrees, I can use this 45 degree increment polar tracking, is it called? Yeah, polar tracking. So I will enable that. So now this is tick marked. And now when I draw a line, it snaps to a direction of 45 degrees, which is great. So now let's draw this box in an axo. To do that, I need to know these two measurements. So I'll just measure distance, dist, like that. And it's around, I drew the box very randomly. So I will just say that it's around 6,000 millimeters, right? So then I just grab a polyline or a line tool, doesn't matter. I'll just draw it at 45 degree angles as 6,000, enter. So that's my line, right? Then I will measure the other wall, like so. And I see that it's 3,251. So let's say 3,250 millimeters. I'll grab a polyline tool again. I'll just draw it out, like so. 3,250, right? Enter. That's it. we have the two lines, and that these two lines are going to be enough for me to finish up drawing this particular box. Because now what I can do is I can copy this line from its base point here to the base point here, and you can see that I missed, so I'll do that again. Select it, copy from here to here. There we go, that's much better. And then I will I will select the other line, copy from its base point here to the base point here. That's about it, right? Now we have our 45-degree angle axle of the top of the box, but of course in an axonometry you can see it as a three-dimensional object. So let's say the height of this box is 3 meters, 3,000 millimeters. So what I like doing is I like selecting let's say this is the roof, right? I like selecting the roof plane and copying it, copy, and I'll just copy it from top to bottom, like so, and I'll just type in 3,000 millimeters, right? And hit escape. So then I have the bottom of the box as well. Now all I need to do is just some additional lines for verticals and clean it up, right? So I'll just draw those lines, like so, like so, and like so. And then trim, enter, enter, and get rid of everything that we don't need. Don't need that, don't need that. That's it. That's the 45-degree axle, right? 30-60-degree axle or ISO view would look like this. Well, first of all, I need to change the polar tracking to 30-degree increments, of course. And then I kind of do the same thing. So I remember that this is 60 or 60. This is 6,000 millimeters, and this is 3,250 millimeters. So let me do this. I will find a 30-degree angle right here, and I'll say 6,000, like so. I will then find a 60-degree angle here, and I'll say 3,250, like so. Actually, I can kind of continue drawing it this way, or yeah, let's stick to it. I'll copy, right? So the procedure is exactly the same. Copy, like that. The height doesn't change, of course, 3,000, like that. Accidentally moved it, I guess, in the incorrect way. Copy. Please move downwards, 3,000, enter. Yeah, now it's good. 3 lines, bam, bam, bam. Those 3 lines are done. And now, or just trim, enter, enter. Get rid of that, and delete those 2. There we go. So that's a 30-60-degree angle, right? Very simple. Let's do this with our building. So I will say that I wanna kind of look at it maybe from this point on. I don't know. Well, if we look at it from this point on, it's going to be the large roof and then the small roof. Maybe that's fine. Or maybe we can, yeah, let's look at it actually from here, from this point, right? Like so. So I will measure distance, and I'll do it 30-60. I'll measure distance, so that's 6,000 millimeters in length, and of course the width is going to be 4,000 millimeters, like that, 4,000. So I will just grab a Polyline tool and just draw it out like so, and I'll say 6,000 in this length. Up, there we go. 4,000. along this line. So make a copy. Bam. And make and basically close it off, right? So let's say this is like the footprint of my building, right? So this is this edge right here around my building. Then I need to know the height of it. And here I kind of have, how do we do this? Yeah, let's draw it from the ground. Yeah, that makes sense. So I'll do distance. Sorry about this. I do want to actually select this, join this up, right? And I want to first take the floor slab and move it up to the correct height, right? Just like I did with the box. In the case of the box, I moved it down. In this case, I'm moving it up. It's the same procedure, basically. So I'll just measure distance from here to the top here, and I can see the distance is 3,500, right? So I'll just take this, copy, up 3,500, like that. And then I'm going to measure distance here, distance from here to here. That is 2,800, right? So I'm just going to make another copy, up 2,800. There we go, right? So now I have all of the levels that I will need for my axle, and I can start connecting them. Before I begin, that hiccup right here, I need to know where that hiccup happens, right? The change in the height. So I'll measure distance again from here to here, 2,560. Okay, sure. So along this line, if I grab a polyline tool, along this line, it's going to be 2,560 millimeters. Enter. And actually, let me extend it. So I just have this polyline as a helper, and I know that this oh, messed it up. Let's do this again. 2,560, right? Or 2,650. Oh my God. Distance 2,560. Okay. From here to here, 2,560. Come on, just 2,560. Enter. Did you snap properly this time? Yes, you did. Okay, good. Always double check if it is snapping properly. So I have that point here, and now I can just draw that point up. Draw a line from that point up. The height of the line doesn't matter because I can just always select things that I don't need. So for instance, I don't need this anymore, and I can delete it. And I can also trim, enter, and trim away the excess, right? So I have, basically what I've done is I created this hiccup line right here. And I know that with this hiccup line, the top of the roof ends, the highest roof, it ends. So I'll just grab a polyline tool and I'll just draw it out like so. Or I could just take this line and copy it in, that works as well. Okay, so now it doesn't look like much, but once I start cleaning it up, it will start taking shape. So I'll do exactly that. I'll trim, and I'll trim away, enter, this area right here, this, and also this, right? So that now is the top of my roof, and that is the bottom of my roof. And I can basically connect everything with vertical lines. So there's going to be a vertical line here. There's going to be a vertical line here. And a vertical line here. That's all I need to do. And now it's just cleaning everything up, right? So trim again, enter, and get rid of all of the unnecessary bits. Construction workers behind the glass. Hope you don't hear them. let's do that. All of the unnecessary bits and pieces that we don't need, we just trim away. And I can see that I can just delete that zigzag here. So I'll just kind of delete it. Right. So that's the shape. That's the shape of the beautiful building, right? Wonderful. Let's continue. So what I want to add now is this. Well, that's actually a very boring facade. Let me do this real fast. Let's grab this, copy, rotate. Come on, rotate, and just create some sort of opening at least, right? Right, somewhere here, and then of course I need to clean this up. So I'm just going to make, I'm just going to hide the medium lines for now, or rather first I'll create two thick lines here, here and here. Turn off the medium layer, select these two lines, trim, delete, join everything up here, and also join this, join. Okay, this is closed, perfect. Okay, so now we can actually turn on the medium layer, and now we have additional window here, which will not show up in the section, but we don't care. I deleted the hatch, so I'll reinstate the hatch. That's gonna be that pattern. I believe I used 20 for the scale. Yeah, looks like it. I'll just click inside of the walls where I want the hatch to be. There we go, that is done. Enter. Okay, so we do have a window here now, so it's not going to be that boring, at least. I kind of want to now cut a hole out for this window and also, of course, for this window. So the first thing is I need to know what's the height at which the windows are going to be located. And actually, both of their height is going to be the same. It's going to be 1150 millimeters above the ground line, this line right here. So I'm just going to take this polyline, I'll copy it up by 1150, enter. Okay, so that is the bottom of the window, and the top of the window, I can just measure the distance again. So my window height is 1.2 meters. So I'll just take this line again, copy, up, 1200, enter. Right? So that's the top of my windows. Now I need to know where this edge is and also where this edge is, right? So I'll just measure distance from the end of the wall, 1540, and then it's going to be another one of 900. 1540, 900. Okay, let's do it this way. Polyline along this line. So make sure that you're just drawing a polyline in that particular direction. And 1540. We're doing 1540 here, and just honestly just drag it out. You know. So basically we have this kind of L shape. I like using it this way as my helper lines. Actually, I should probably like have these lines just to be more pedagogical in the helper layer, because these are just my helper lines, and I'll make my helper layer active as well. We continue. So I just grab this. I start drawing from this point along this direction, and I will say 900 because that's the width of my window. Like so. Right? Like so. So this rectangle right here is where my window is going to be located in the axle. Same thing for here, but for here it's going to be quite simple. I just measure the distance from here to here. That's 400, of course. And I can just take this vertical line here and just make a copy of it along this edge. So I'll just snap somewhere to this edge and type in 400. And that makes it into a copy. Okay, let's clean this up again, right? So I will just grab the thick line tool and I'll just grab a polyline tool. And here, just make sure that intersection snapping is turned on. Intersection, that it's turned on. And I will just draw out this twisted rectangle here, or projected rectangle here. That's the hole for my window. And I'll do the same thing here, only that it's a corner window, so it's going to be a U shape rather than a rectangle. Like that, this, right? And now I don't need the helper lines anymore, so I just delete them. There we go. This line right here, line segment right here is not necessary, so I'll just trim, enter, enter, and trim it away. Okay, so now to be pedagogical, I need to give thickness to this, right? Of course, I need to give. Oh, by the way, if you do this accidentally, like if you accidentally rotate the view, just click on the top right corner box right here, and then click on the arrow keys like here to rotate it back. So that top is, you know, where you want it to be. Right, continuing on, thickness. So to give it thickness, all I need to do is just draw out a line segment here, of course. And as you can see, I always tend to draw out line segments that are too thick, and then I just simply trim them back to the thickness that I want, right? And the thickness of the wall is 400 millimeters. I don't even need to check that. So I know that this line will go in by 400. Well, actually what we can do, no, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Copy or offset. Offset would work as well. Offset 400 from here to here. That's 400. And then draw just a line segment here. Offset that line segment by 400 inwards like so. And delete the original, of course. Trimming again. Enter. There we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, so that is thickness of the wall here. And there's also going to be thickness of the wall here. But in this case, I'm going to be a little... Oh my God, I keep holding down the shift key. Sorry about that. Don't hold the shift key as you're scrolling. It's going to rotate the view. So in this case, I'm just going to grab a polyline tool, draw this L shape right here. Take that L shape and move it along the 30-degree direction, right? By 400 millimeters, like so. Trim, enter, enter, trim away the excess, grab the polyline tool, extend it, you have your opening here, right? Okay, so there's no windows. Let's add windows, of course. So the windows are going, I keep doing it. The windows are going to be located, let's say in the middle, or actually, do I want them in the middle? Maybe I do. Let's say the windows are going to be located kind of in the middle of the wall, right? So I'm just going to take this polyline that I already have, and I'll copy it from this corner to the middle corner here. And that is going to be my initial window or window plane, right? Then I will offset by 50, because I remember that my thickness of the window frame is 50 millimeters. Offset it offset it by 50, and just copy it inwards by, I don't know, 25, something like that. And now it's just a bunch of cleaning up, right? So the more curves you have, the more you need to think what you're cleaning. But it's basically going to be, if I trim, enter, of course I don't see anything that's going on here. That's gone. I will not, through the window, technically since it's glass, you would see the back side of the wall, but in this case we don't want to show it, so I'm not going to be showing it. And that is basically it. Then I just delete the excess, and then we have wall, window frame, and glass, right? So we have our window here. Same thing for this. Same thing for this bad boy right here. Why am I doing this? I think this is because in Rhino, the shortcut is holding down the shift key to pan the view. So I think that's why I'm doing it. Anyway, in this case, it's exactly the same procedure, only that I'm going to draw a polyline like so. Let me make it white, helper line layer. So I'll just draw it as a white polyline so that it's easier for you to see. Make a polyline, copy it in, and I will just make a copy of it, or rather I can just move it, actually. Move it inside of the hole by so that's going to be middle of the wall. That will need to be 400. No, the wall thickness is 400, so that's going to be 200 millimeters, something like that. So now it's moved in, and of course it makes a bend here, right? So I can't have that line just located here. It needs to go in, and the way it's going to go in, like the way I'm going to find that point by how much this edge needs to go in, I'm talking about this corner and this frame right here. See how it's going in? It's not, resting on this side of the wall. Same thing here. It can't rest on this side of the wall. It needs to go in. So I am going to just grab this line right here, and I will make an offset of it by 200 inwards. So now I can see the new line segment that I can draw, and I'll draw it, of course. So helper, polyline, from here upwards, it's like that. We need to clean it up because the more curves you have, the harder it is for you to understand what the hell is going on. So I'm going to delete all of the unnecessary bits, and I'm going to rotate the view as per usual. I'm going to trim, enter, enter, and I'm going to trim away the things that I don't need. So that, and I'm going to join things that I do need. Just a second. Yeah. Right. So now I have it offsetted by 200 inwards, and that is great. It makes a bend, but we will never see that bend that it makes. So we are just dealing with this plane here. I will offset it. Now I'm just doing the same thing as I was doing here. Offset 50. Hello? Oh, offset 50. There we go. you go in, then take this, copy along this direction by 25, and then just draw that small little line right there for the frame. Right, now we clean everything up as per usual, trim, bam, 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 no need for that, delete. Okay, so that's, forgot that part, trim, bam, bam. Now that's fine. Okay, so I have this done. There's also, I forgot one thing. We have two partitions. That's, oops. That's my bad. So the way I'm going to do partitions, I think, is, do we measure from the side of the wall? Yeah, maybe. Maybe we just measure from the side of the wall, right? Or is that a stupid way to do it? Maybe it is a stupid way to do it. I know. Let's do it this way. I'll draw two helper lines here, right here, and right here, and I will measure their distances. From this corner, from where the window starts, distance to this line is going to be 1,100, and then another distance is going to be 2,275. 11002275. Okay, I just need to, I am sure that I will forget that. So then what I can do is I can just draw a polyline from here, like so, 1100, like that. So that's a point right here. And let me actually mark it out just with a random line here. And then another one is going to be, yep, forgot it, 2275, there we go, 2275. Enter. So it goes until here, and I'll just draw it out like so. So I have like these two corner points, and I know that if I were to make like an extension for the frame, it would reach those two corner points. So I can kind of backtrack, right? I can kind of do this. I can grab a polyline and I can draw it like so. Please stop rotating. Okay, polyline like so, and another one like so, right? So now I have anchored my lines properly, and now all I need to deal with is just vertical lines, right? So I'll just grab a polyline again, and I'll just draw out. I just need to make sure that I'm sticking to the correct position. Yeah, there we go. I'll just draw out vertical polylines here, or vertical line segments, and here, right? Now I don't need those helpers anymore, so I'll just delete them so that they're not in the way anymore, like that. And for these line segments, I can actually clean them up a little bit more. Trim, come on, trim, enter, enter. Bam, bam. I can clean them up a little bit more, and I can start messing around with them, so moving them around. Copy. So you two will be copied, enter, and you will be copied along this direction by 50 millimeters, right? Because that's the thickness of the polyline, right? Or polyline, not the polyline, of the frame. So I drew this line right here, and then I copied it by 50 millimeters. Don't need those helpers anymore. Okay, so we have that done, and now I will just take these two line segments and I will copy them in by 25 millimeters for this thickness right here, only that we will see it on the side. Copy along this direction, 25 mil, that's done. Okay, time to clean it up and make it actually look like a proper window. Trim, enter, enter. And now it's just a bunch of trimming here. So the frame will merge. So the frame kind of does this, right? It just merges like so. And of course, you don't see anything behind the frame. Here as well, you don't see anything behind the frame. Merges here. Continues on here like that. Okay, that's good. And let's clean this up. That's good. And there are two line segments that are missing, where the frame bends, like here, and also right here. Oh yeah, and we don't need to see the inner line of the wall anymore, so we can just delete that. Oh, that as well. That's it. That is our window in the axle, right? I will change everything to medium layer, just because we are not cutting through anything, so it makes sense that it is a medium layer, except that for the glass, I will change the glass to thin layer, because there's too many lines that are concentrated in one spot, so I don't want them to merge. Like graphically, I don't want them to merge into one thick line, so I'm going to make the glass thin layer. Okay, now it's all about hatching it, right, and making it nicer. It's not a very difficult building, that's for sure. Let me just add the hatch and then we will continue. I don't want to spend too much time here. So I want to have planks, let's say, horizontal planks going around the building. So I will go to my hatch layer and I'll create a hatch for it. And I'll just choose, let's say, this wall, enter. So I've just created some random hatch. I'll select it. And now we can kind of go to town here. So I know that this is 60 degrees. This is 30 degrees, if I remember correctly. So I believe if we do 0 degrees here, when the angle is 0 degrees, it's at 45, right? So let me do, or actually let me change the, yeah, I'll use this instead, this hatch instead for the planks. So instead of 45, we want to first start with horizontal. So let me just say 45 degrees. That is not horizontal. So let's add 90 more, 135. So now these are horizontal. And now I can kind of rotate them. So I need to rotate it back. So 135, and I rotate it back by 30 degrees. So that's going to be 105. There we go. And I really want the planks to start from this point right here. So I will choose it as my origin. Set origin, this point right here. So the planks start from here. Okay, and now for the scale of the planks, I think the scale is kind of good, but maybe I'll do like 15. Something like that. That's it. Now for the other wall, same procedure, hatch, select it. Angle is not going to be 105. It's actually going to be, that's pretty close. My guess is that it's going to be 15, right? Yeah, it's going to be 15. You can always kind of rotate it with the slider here and see what kind of values work, or you can do quick math in your head. That works as well. So, but in this case, the angle is 15. I used scale of 15 as well, I believe. And now I need, see how these don't match? I need the same origin point, so I'll set origin right here, and these don't match. Why don't they match? Oh, right, because the angle is different. So of course they sorry, apologies. Of course they won't match, but also that's 15 and that is also 15. They look very, very different, both being 15. a scale of 15. Either way, that's good enough. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we have planks here, right? We have our building. Kind of want to, let me just do one thing. Offset 250. Go in. Go in. This is you don't need to do this. This is just me wanting to kind of have something a little bit more complex in terms of the roof. Until here. Bear with me. It's not gonna take too long. So that's gonna be that. That's fine. Can I go to medium, turn off the hatch layer? Okay, medium is my active. Turn off the hatch layer, trim, clean this up a little bit. Just a little bit, trim, enter, go away. You are correct, but you go away. And don't need that anymore, don't need that, or that. This, it's fine. Delete that, trim again, forgot one part. This, what? Select. Are you locked? Have I accidentally locked it? Well, that's awkward. Oh. Undo. So that was a bug. Apologies for that. I will need to fix it. Apparently, the screen was frozen for a little bit, and I didn't see that there was a bug. So let's clean this up real fast so that you don't need to wait too long. No need for that. Or that, or that. Every time when you want to do something nice, you just need to deal with a crap ton of bugs. Okay, so that's done. It's fine. No need for that. This gets extended. You and you get extended. That all is fine, and that just needs a line segment here. Okay. A little bit more detail on the roof, just to have something there. Okay, let's move on. So we have our axle, we have our plan, we have our section. If I want to, maybe now it's the time to create layouts for plotting. Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time. So what we're going to do, sorry. What we're going to do is, I'm going to explain you what layout is, first of all, I guess. So this is your model space. This is a space in which you work. It's not the space in which you prepare the project to be printed out and where you work with additional information on the project. Well, adding dimensions will be done here, but everything else will be done separately in the layout. So a layout is here in the bottom of this. There we go. Here in the bottom of the screen, you can see layout. layout 1, layout 2, and these are kind of just there, just doing their thing, and we don't really need them. We will be creating our own, so I'll just delete. Okay, you just right click on them and you just delete them. Delete. Yeah. Go. Oh, this one doesn't delete. You need at least one layout. That's fine. We will create our own and we will ignore this one. So new layout, you just click that plus sign. You right click on it and you choose page setup manager. Well, first let's rename it, I guess. First, let's rename it and let's name it plan. Enter. Usually the convention for naming them is 00-plan and then 01-section, 02-axo, and so on, so that all of them are kind of laid out properly. But in this case, we just have 3 drawings, so whatever. Name it whatever you want. So that's our plan. We go to page setup manager. We right click on the layout name. We go to page setup manager right here, and we modify it. So here in the page setup manager, you can see your layout 1 and the new one that you've created. So you select it and you click modify. Okay, so this is where you kind of set up everything about the layout and all of the settings on what kind of drawing you want to export, right? So let's start from the start. Microsoft Print to PDF is fine. I prefer using Adobe PDF. DWG to PDF is also fine. But anything that can kind of generate PDF, you choose. You don't choose a printer because you will be exporting it as PDF, right? So printing is not just printing on a sheet of paper or plotting. Plotting is the same thing as printing, by the way. It's not printing on a sheet, necessarily on a sheet of paper. It can be printing to a file, right? So to a PDF. So in this case, I'm going to choose, yeah, let's just go with Microsoft Print to PDF. If you want, you can use Adobe PDF, you can use DWG to PDF, whichever is to PDF you use. So that's done. Let me just hit properties here and just double check. Yeah, that's fine. That's whatever. I'll keep it with the properties. Paper size. Here we will find A3. That's the size of the paper that we're going to be using. What to plot layout? Yes. Plot offset. Keep it at 0, 0. That's fine. Scale 1:1. Yes. So here the scale is of the page, not of your model. So the scale needs to be 1:1. Landscape, yes. And plot style, I use none. For plot style, I use none. That's important. That's it. No need for anything else. Yeah, no need for anything else. Let's just hit OK. Hit close. And now you can see that the page became bigger, right? And this is basically this is like a window showing us our model, and we will position our geometry in this in this page. So how do you do that? Well, the thing is, first of all, you need to understand the philosophy of layout. So a layout is a digital, in this case, A3 sheet of paper, which has a window in it, right? It has like a hole in it, and through that hole, you see you see stuff that you drew in your model space, right? So you see this stuff in your layout. Important note, right? That this rectangle right here is the frame of that particular hole or that particular window, right? So you need that rectangle to be, first of all, properly sized, to fill the page. And second of all, you kind of want to understand what's the scale of these elements, because right now they're just kind of randomly zoomed in. There's no scale, right? So you want to have the scale. One more thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to, before I kind of continue with the layouts, I'll go to the model space and I will create some room here. And of course my hatches will not let me, so I'll kind of delete the hatches for a bit. F8. I'll just create a little bit of space between these, just so that when I grab the view of the plan, it doesn't kind of grab a little bit of the section. I'll create the sections, the hatch in just a second. For now, let's just keep it. And you can see that it, by the way, updates here. Okay, so first thing is understanding that this is a page and this is a window into your model space, and you kind of look at your model through that window. Second is this frame. This frame, I kind of want it to be, let's go to layer properties. I want it to be in a separate, as a separate entity. So I'll create a new layer. I'll call this layer no print, do not print layer. And I'll keep it. Oh, by the way, here you can see it says white, even though it shows black. That is not a bug. That is how it works, right? So it will show up white in the model space, but it will be black as it's printed out. Just something that, just your AutoCAD things. Okay. So this frame right here, I will select it and I will move it to the no print layer. And the reason why I'm doing this is because when we are going to be printing out the layout, I don't want this frame to be visible. By the way, those of you who are thinking, will the grid be visible? No, the grid will not be visible in the final print. But I also don't want the frame to be visible, so that's why I'm putting it in the separate layer, and then we will just make sure that that layer is not being printed during the printing process. Then the next thing is, well, let's position this to the center. So I can just kind of move it around, right? F8, I can just move it anywhere I want, this window. And now let's make sure that the scale, or not the scale, that we are focused on the plan view, right? In this particular layout. So I'm going to double click inside of it, double click. And now we're not, we can't move around here in the layout, but rather we are moving around in the window. So when you double click inside, you are then working within the window and you can zoom in, zoom out. So you can control the positioning here, right? So what I'm going to do is I will select my plan and I will type in Z for zoom. And then I will, here in the bottom, I'll choose object. So I've just zoomed in to this object, right? Once I've done that, I just double click anywhere else, right? Not inside. And now my layout is focused on this particular, or this window, this layout window is focused on this particular drawing, right? That's important. I will now need to make sure that the scale of this drawing in an A3 page is a correct scale. It's 1 to 100, 1 to 50, whatever scale I want it to be, right? So how do you change the scale? Well, for that, you will need to access the properties of this window frame. So I select this window frame and I type in PR, short for properties, and hit enter. it will open up this page for me, or not page, this menu box for me, and I'll position it here. And here in the properties, I can see that there's under MISC, right here, there's standard scale and custom scale. So I'll not be using a custom scale. Rather, I will just expand the standard scale and I'll find the scale that I want. In this case, probably 1 to... Honestly, 1 to 50 is enough for this kind of a project. Like even 1 to 100 would be enough, but that's way too small. So instead, I'll just use 1 to 50, right, for my scale. You could use 1 to 25. That's fine as well, but I'll use 1 to 50. Like that. And now this particular drawing, this drawing right here, is at 1 to 50 scale, right? I will close my Properties tab, Escape to unselect, and from now on, I will not be messing around with this particular layout. I can still move it around and whatnot, right? But I will not be messing around with it. Now, here, if I were to... If I were to check AADA05 requirements, blah, stamp. Each page will have AADA05 stamp, including the name of the student, the date, the name of the drawing, and the scale of the drawing on bottom right side of the page. Okay. Bottom right side of the page, we need a stamp. So what I'm going to do is I will create a... Do we create one more layer? Yeah, let's create one more layer. And I'll call it layout text. Layout text. And I'll make it just white color. By the way, there are two white colors. This one right here, which is 255. It's going to say 255 here. And there's this one here that's going to say white. This one, the 255 one, is going to be printed out white. This one, the one that says white, will be printed out black. Okay. Rewind if you need it, if you need to, and then listen to this again. I'll just hit OK. So we're using the white that's going to be printed out as black. Escape. And I'll just choose this layout text as my current layer, current layer in which I draw. And I'll kind of start going to town on this. So the first thing that I want is a bracket, like a framing of the page. So I'm just going to first draw out an A3 page. Well, that's not 0, 0, 0 coordinates. That's weird. Why? Well, whatever, doesn't matter. I'll just draw out an A3 page. And it's drawn at 1:1 scale, by the way. So it's 420 millimeters by 297 millimeters by 420 by 297, right? Like that. I'll just move it kind of close to the bottom left corner, like so, so that it fits with the page that we have here. Doesn't need to be perfect, that's fine. And now I will offset this line here by 10 millimeters. Yes, that's going to be 1 centimeter. That's enough. By 1 centimeter. So now I have the inner bracket, and I don't need the old one, like this gap is always 1 centimeter from the side of the page, and I can use it for placing of my stamp. So the stamp is basically just a bunch of information about the project, about the drawing. And I'm going to be quite quick about this because there's nothing smart, right? So I'm still in the layout text and I'm going to write some text actually, right? So I'm gonna start writing here. Maybe that's a little bit too fast. T, enter, short for text, specify first corner, specify second corner. Probably change the height of it from 200 millimeters to something a little bit less. So things that are less than 3 millimeters, depending on the font, are becoming harder and harder to read. So I'm gonna say 3 millimeters. Why is this not updating? DD. You, sir, are not updating at all. That is strange. Okay. Let me try again. Select this text. Can I double click you? No, I can't. Yes, I can. Can we change you? 3 millimeters. The effect of using the style, not just. Okay, this is being no. This is being a little bit awkward. M text. This is a little bit too big, isn't it? But for some reason it. Oh, it. Well, there's some issues here and there with the with AutoCAD, I guess. So now it works. Let me just to make sure that this will work as well. Let me try. Now it says 200. I change this to 3. Draws as 3. Either way. Let's do this again. And now let's do this plainly, I guess. Text. Specify start point of text. Let's see from here. Specify height. So I will specify 5 millimeters in height. Specify rotation angle 0. Okay, it just works. Sure. My name, Gediminas Teikis. Okay. Next text. T, enter. First corner. And I'll just say and here it's doing another thing. Whatever, name. That's going to be where my name is going to be. Now let's do the date, the name of the drawing, and the scale of the drawing. Okay, so I still need some things. And honestly, once I have one text object, I just kind of like to make copies of it and just like double click on it and write what I need to write. So AADA05, we will have the date. And I know this is not the 2021-02-02. I know that this is not the cleanest way of how to do it, but whatever works for you. There's no rule in how you need to draw it. And then there's gonna be title and yeah, whatever. Title and date. Okay. So now let's make some adjustments, right? We need to put all of this information into this corner right here in a kind of nice way. So I'm going to draw with a polyline. I'm just going to draw out a table that is, let's say, going to be 200 mil long, and it's not horizontal. F8, 200 millimeters by let's say by 40 millimeters by 200. Close it off. If we need to, we'll trim away some stuff from it. And then I'm going to just select this and explode it so that I can work with each individual edge separately, or each individual line separately. And I will say that AADA05 is going to be located right here, somewhere here. And it actually is going to be scaled. It's going to be twice the size to all other information. So I'm just scaling it by 2. Position it. There we go. Make a copy of it, or make a copy of this. Probably something like so. Move this. So my name is gonna go here. You can just kind of position it like so. Like that. And now I'm just going to kind of build a table around it. That. That looks okay. I will center this as well. Okay. Now for the date and the title. The title will go in here. So I'm just going to move the title here, and I'm going to kind of double click on it and change this. It's ground floor plan. So it's going to be ground floor plan M or scale 1 to 50. We can say at 1 to 50. Usually at is at what height are you cutting, but here we don't really care. So we'll just say 1 to 50. So that's ground floor plan, and then we have the date 2021. And position it properly. That's it. That's all you need to do, right? So you have your stamp here, right? Usually the stamp it does have much more information in it, but this is just like first practice. Okay, so that is done. We have our plan, we have our layout, everything is correct. Let's do 2 more layouts. Right, so the way we will do other 2 layouts, it's now by right-clicking and choosing to move or copy. So we right-click our existing layout, 00 plan, move or copy, and we choose move to end, create copy, right? So there's going to be a copy created at the end of the layout line. I hit OK. So we have this one. We will right click it and choose to rename it to 01-section, right? 01-section. That is done. And then I'm gonna, while I'm at it, I'm just going to right click, move and or copy, move to end, create copy, okay. Rename to 02 axo, right? So we have section axo and plan. And now layout 1 is just randomly there, so I'm just gonna delete it. No need for that. There we go. The only layouts that we need are these 3. Okay, so we have that. Now for the section, I will double click inside of this window. Find the section, zoom into it, ZS, enter. Or that is not an AutoCAD command. That is Rhino command. Z, enter, O, enter. There we go. That is AutoCAD command. Double click out, select the frame, PR for properties. Annotation scale, no, not annotation, custom scale, standard scale, 1 to 50, like that. Close it off. That's done. And I will just change this as well. So this is section A-A at 1 to 50. That's all we need to change here, and that is done. And now AXO, double click inside, find the AXO, zoom selected, Z, enter, oh, enter, not zoom selected. And this guy right here, we don't really have a scale for it. So this is just going to be axonometric diagram. Something like that. And actually, if you want to, by the way, if you want to resize your window, you can just click on these doodads. These you select the frame, you click on this corner point here, and you can just resize it any way you want, right? That works as well. AXO doesn't have a scale, so I will not be messing around with it too much. I'll just keep it as it is. Okay, so we have that done. We have axonometric diagram, we have section, we have plan. Okay, I think we're good. So now in the model space, we actually need to, or rather not in the model space, let's go back to layout space. Let's change the colors. I think that's important to kind of change the colors. Before we do that, of course, we need to add the hatches. I forgot that I have deleted the hatch. So let me re-add it real fast. U, and U, enter, select the hatch. Angle is gonna be 0 and scale is 20. That's perfect. That's it. Okay, let's go back to the plan. So that's how it looks like right now. And to change the colors, you change the layer properties, right? You change the properties of the layers for the colors. So hatch, let's start with the hatch, right? It's gonna be the easiest one. Or rather, let's leave the hatch for the last one. Rather, let's start with the thick line, the red line, right? So here, when I am in the model space and I look at layer properties, I can only see one color, right? It's just magenta, red, yellow, blah, 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 blah. One line time, one line weight. If I go to my plan right here, to my layout, and I go to layer properties, I can see two colors. That is important because this is the color of the model space. This is the color in which it's going to be plotted out or exported. Very big difference. So I am going to, in the, is it called white space? No, it's something else. In this column, sorry about that. In this column, I'm going to start changing the colors first, right? So the thick line, I'll change from the red color to black right here, or to white actually. I know it's confusing, but you'll get used to it. So I'll change it to this white color, not this white color. This white is going to be printed out as white. This white is going to be printed out as black, right? So it needs to say white here. I'll change it to white. And now if I doesn't show. Wait a minute. Yep, that was my bad. Sorry, I figured it out. So apparently in the paper space right here, this is what's called the paper space. You can't really override the color this way. So I'll turn this back to red. Sorry about that. That's a little bit of a hiccup. Instead, I need to go into the model space. So I need to double click to go into this view. And here I can go to layer properties. Just make sure that you don't accidentally scroll your mouse wheel or anything like that. You don't mess up the scale. I mean, if you mess up the scale, you can always kind of repeat the steps and get the scale back. either way, once I am inside of this view, this is super important. Once I'm inside of this view, then I can override the color, how it's going to be printed out. So thick line is gonna be white. See, it turns to black. Text is going to be, let's say text is going to be blue in my case, or maybe red. Yeah, let's go for red. I'll say text is red. Sure. No print is whatever. Medium line is going to be also black, so white. I need naming conventions for this. Thin line, white, and hatch. For hatch, I will say dark red, something like color 14, something like that, right? So I have this. Once I've done that, I will just escape out, double click outside of the model space, and now I can see the colors have changed, and I will just need to do this for every layout here. A trick on how to do it for all of them would be just to go into model space and change every, like in the layer properties, in the layer properties, change the colors here, and then it will update for all of the layouts. But sometimes in different layouts, you want different colors. So this is a little bit better to do. So double click inside layer properties, and I will just really quickly go through this. So that was 14. That is gonna be white. It's gonna be white. I wonder if there's like a fast way of how to do this. Like setting everything to white. Oh, the text needs to be red, sorry. Like that. Double click. And for AXO, for instance, in the AXO, I don't want the hatch to be dark red color. I just want it to be like gray. So here I can change up the overrides. Just make sure that you have double clicked. Layer properties, hatch, I will just say darkish gray, like that. Medium line, I'll just go for black. Thick line, black. Thin line, black. Text, red. Okay, something like that. And now we can see here the hatch is shown in a different way, right? From all other layouts. So that is that's my initial setup, and that is basically what I'm dealing with right now. Right. So we can go to model space and let's see what other things do we need to add here, right? What kind of other things do we want to add for this particular project? So let's see how we can import stuff, right? Let's see how we can import objects into our scene, such as a person, a tree, maybe a tree for the AXO. I don't know. Maybe nothing for the plan. So importing. If we go to pimpmydrawing.com, the link is right here to the line work library. This link right here. If we go here, we can find a person which we can use. So I will just kind of use a random. Why are there? That's fine. That's a good one. Everyone's kind of posing. I don't want them to be posing. I'll just get this guy. So here we have this person, and I can click on download DWG, and it just kind of downloads it, right? And downloads the DWG file. So I'll show in folder. That's That's the DWG file. And all I need to do is just click and drag it into AutoCAD, release, and click. And then just hit enter, 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 right? For all of the questions. Basically, now I have it in AutoCAD. Right? That is super simple to do. And it is what's called the block, right? So you can see that all of this selects at the same time. And perhaps I don't want it because this is a little bit too much detail for my type of project. So I will, one more thing before we kind of look into what a block is. It also imports with more layers, or I guess it doesn't. Oh, it does. It just lagged. If the layers lag, just switch between all and all used, right? And it's going to update. AutoCAD, come on. So it does import with these two layers, inner, outer, which we can just change like any other layer, right? In the layout. So that's good. So for this person right here, I will look at the for this import right here, I will type in properties, and I can see that it's imported into the hashed layer, but that's whatever. But it's basically, well, it doesn't say here. Oh yeah, it does. Block reference, right? So this is a block. I don't want it as a block, so how do you get rid of it? I want to use the line separately. How do you get rid of it? From being a block, you just explode it. So you select it, you explode it, and now you have all of the lines separated, right? So I only want the outline of this dude. So I'll take the outline and I'll just move it from, let's see, the bottom of the shoe to somewhere, I don't know, maybe near the window. Maybe somewhere here. Maybe here. Yeah, somewhere here. So I'll just place him here, right? And then I can just use him to trim away the necessary bits, which he's standing in front of. That, like that. Okay, that's it. I have my silhouette of a person, and I don't need all of the other lines, so I'll just delete them, right? So honestly, then I can see that it's only the outer layer that I'm still using, the inner layer, which had all of the lines inside of the person. I am not using that anymore, so I'll just delete it. Delete the layer altogether. Selected layer was not deleted. I will not be deleting it. I will keep it forever. Just don't worry about it. Anyway. For the outer layer, I don't care the color in which it's shown here, but I do care the color in which it's shown in the layout, especially in the section layout right here, because right now it's purple, right? So I'll double click inside of that layout, click layer properties, and change the color to index color, choose index color here, and then to white. Hit close, that's it. Double click out, we're good to go. So that's the person. Let me do this again with the trees. So I will just go to pimpmydrawing.com. Here in the bottom, I'll choose trees. I'll find a nice little, let's see, this guy right here. Download it as DWG. That's a small maple tree. That's perfect. In AutoCAD, I'll make sure that I'm in my model space. Where is my maple tree? 5. Oh, it's still being downloaded. Why is this so slow? 123 kilobytes. Pause. Oh, okay, it's downloaded actually. So I'll just drag it in. Bam. I'll just place it like so. enter, enter, enter. So I have my small little maple tree. Maybe I'll scale it up from this point, 1.25, just 125%. So that is a little bit larger than the building. And I will move it down. So I think that looks fine. Perhaps I want it on the other side as well. So I'll just make a copy of it. And I'll keep it as a block, by the way, in this case, because I don't really, well, in case where the maple tree kind of goes behind the building, I would need to explode it and trim it away. But in other cases, I don't. Maybe I will, just to show you. Explode. So I explode the block, trim, enter, enter, and I just trim away the, oh, that's gonna be super laggy. My mouse is frozen. Okay, so trimming, huh? Let me turn off the hatch. Maybe that's gonna help. Make 0 my active layer, turn off the hatch. I try trimming again. Why is it lagging? I wonder. Shouldn't lag. Maybe that's because there's too many lines. If it lags for you as well, this hard, just don't trim the trees, right? Just don't have them trimmed. I'll go make some coffee while this is crashing, and then we will continue. Yep, so it completely crashed, which actually I will use as an opportunity to show you how to, if you have a crash, what can you do about it, right? So when you load AutoCAD again, it's going to say that in your previous work session, the program terminated unexpectedly, blah, blah, blah. And you can get a backup from your drawing recovery manager. Cool. Let's see how much it saved. So I'll just hit close right here, and here on the left-hand side of the screen, I can see my backup files, and I can see my that is not good. That is not good at all. Let's see this one. Let's see this guy right here. So as you're clicking through it, you can see like these 3 versions, and AADA05, the weird one, kind of looks like there is a guy there. So at least that has been saved. So I'm just going to double click on that and open it up. That seems to be okay. At least it does have the stuff, like most of the stuff that I have done. So we're not missing too much. And let me change the camera exposure. We're not missing too much. So I will just really quickly recreate what I have been doing. And this time around, I will not be trimming the trees, that's for sure. So explode that. Explode that, get the outline, move it, from here to wherever it was, over here. Fine. Trim, enter, enter. Wonder what's up with the trees and crashing. It never used to crash before. Maybe the new version really doesn't like the amount of points that the tree polylines have. That's probably the culprit behind it. So just keep an eye out for that. Either way, this is fine. And now we just go to section and we change the color of the outer line here to white. There we go. Like that. Oops. Go back to model. And just to be sure, I will save now. Keep saving. So I'll just save it as AADA05 new. Hit save. There we go. Okay, so, oh yeah, and we don't need those. So the trees. Again, dragging them in, placing them. Enter. Scale. From here, 1.25, just a little bit bigger. Just move it slightly down so that it's kind of positioned correctly. Copy it to the other side. My God, why? That's fine. It is what it is. So we have our trees here, and I'll actually copy F8. Just have a proper copy here. I'll say that one tree is located here, while the other one is kind of located somewhere here. Maybe this one is actually here, and it's actually a little bit bigger than the other one, 1.25 again. Like that. So let's look at it in the section. So in the section, I can see that the trees are being blocked off by the frame a little bit. So I'm going to move the frame like that and like that, just so that they are being shown. And also I will change the inner areas of the trees to have a different color. So I'll go to, oops, I first need to double click inside. I'll go to layer properties, and here I will just change the inner layer color to be medium gray. Hit OK, close. That's good. Same thing for AXO. Oh, for AXO we actually need, maybe we'll need to have a smaller AXO. That's fine. I will just double click and scale out. Super vertical though. Double click here. Can we make this bigger? Let me just snap it to the sides here, like that. That is almost good enough, but I kind of want to move this tree up because I am dealing with the horizontal orientation of this. So I will go, or rather we can kind of select all of this. Z, enter, O, enter, zoom objects. We can't. Maybe we can do it other way around. If I just go to properties, PR, and here properties of the, what the hell? That's the polyline. Oh, that's the frame. That's the frame. I don't want to select the frame though. So how do we do this? We can select both of them, and then from both of them, I will just choose viewport. And here I will just change the scale. Let's use custom, and if I make this this number larger, the scale should increase. So 0.02 looks like that. Let's do 0.017 or something like that. Whoops, 0.017. There we go. That's fine. We can now clip around here, like so. Well, that was the incorrect line. That is fine. Kind of still work with this. Move this in, like so. Grab the line segment here, snap it. No, we can't snap it. Grab that one then and snap it. Now it's fine. Okay. So it was just a little bit of cleaning up. There's nothing special about what I've done. There is a little bit of a tree that's kind of sticking into the stamp, but that's fine. That's okay if it's doing that. Layer properties. Let me change the colors. Not for the hatch. wait, why is, oh, right. I need to double click inside and then change the layer properties to inner line being medium gray and the outer line being black, or it says white, but it's black. Okay, whew, we're done. Good. So that's how you import stuff, and apparently you can't trim, but that's good to know. Oh, I messed it up. So I accidentally zoomed out, and now it's all messy. So I will need to kind of select all of this, zoom, enter, oh, enter again, double click out, select the frame, PR for properties, and just make sure that the standard scale is set to 1:50. There we go. So every time when you accidentally zoom out, you need to do this. Axo is fine, section is fine, plan is fine. Okay, model space. We have imported stuff. We have that. Let's add grid lines. Let's add dashed lines, and let's add measurements. Right. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I will add grid lines to both the plan and the section. And the way you do it is, well, first I'll just work with the helper line and I'll just draw them out. So the grid lines are usually anchored to the inner walls, inner side of the walls. So that's going to be one grid line. That is going to be another one. That is going to be the third one. Right here, probably here is going to be the fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. These are used for construction purposes, and they are quite useful for that. Honestly, I'm thinking of adding a grid line here as well. I really want to add a grid line for this, but maybe that's not necessary. Sorry, I'm just thinking real quick. I'm just thinking how much we should add. Let's stick to these grid lines for this particular example. Then I'm going to create a rectangle. And my rectangle is going to be like so. So I'm just kind of drawing around the building, right? And I'm going to extend. So I'll select the rectangle. I'll extend these lines to that rectangle so that they penetrate through the building completely, like that. And also I will trim the lines that are extending away from the rectangle, like that. Once I've done that, I just can delete the rectangle altogether. So that's my grid lines, and they will have some sort of a markup at the end where I can kind of say what kind of grid lines I'm using. So I will just use let's just do a polyline, and let's just say the length is a meter. No, a meter is too much. 500 millimeters by 10 is too little. 50. Sure. 500 by 50. It's kind of a stylized ending for the grid line, and from its midpoint I will just kind of move it to the first grid line here, and I'll kind of copy it to all other positions like that. Take both of these, copy them to the other side like so, and same thing for the vertical ones. I'll just borrow this like so. I will rotate it, or not, rotate around this point, vertical, there we go. Move to the first one from midpoint to end point here, copy, enter, and there we go. We just kind of go to town with them like that. Copy from the top midpoint to the bottom endpoint of the grid lines. Let's make sure that everything fits in the plan. Everything does fit in the plan. That's great. Let's go back here. So that's our grid lines. They do need markups, basically naming for the grid lines. So I will borrow this text. This section markup text. I'll just copy it near the first horizontal grid line, something like so. Let's go for below it, right? And actually the text here can be smaller, so I'll just scale it down by 0.5 to a pretty small text. Let's just double check how it looks like. It's pretty small, but that's fine. And it's basically going to be horizontally, I'm going to have grid line A and B, and vertically I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So you always distinguish between directions by naming, and the naming is alphabetical in one direction, and in the other one it's numbers. Usually you use numbers for the direction which has more grid lines as well. So I'll just copy A, and this one I will just change to B. The axle doesn't need to have a grid line, to have any grid lines or any dimensions whatsoever. So A grid line, B grid line, that's great. Same thing for these guys right here. I'll just kind of take this, copy this, somewhere close by, doesn't need to be perfectly precise. I'll just rename this to 1. I'll just kind of make a copy of it. So that's going to be 1, that's going to be 2, 3, 4. Messed up with the 4. Copy. 4 and 5. Double click on the text, rename it to 2. Double click on the text, rename it to 3. The text 4 and the text 5. That's done. Now I just need to select these and copy them down. Copy. From here to here. Okay, so we have our grid line markups done. The grid lines themselves are still in the helper line layer, so I need to fix that. I will, or axes. I guess we need to call them axes. Sorry. Oh, wait, I'm not sorry. It's both grid lines and axes in this case. So I will select just the ends of them, and I will change them to text layer so that the ends are going to be red. And the axes themselves, I'm going to create a new layer for them. New layer, and I'll call it axis or axes, doesn't matter, axes. And I'll here for now just change the color of them to be also, well, maybe not yellow, maybe let's do orange, right? Just to distinguish between them. So these are going to be done in orange for now in the model space. I just select them. I messed that up. There we go. And we change this to axis layer. There we go. So that is done, almost. If I look at it in the plan layout, I can see the, why is this? Well, that's strange. It should be red, right? Because in the model space, it's red. Oh, sorry. Yeah, in model space, it's in the green layer. Why is it here still shown as black? Just give me a second. Layer helper. So it doesn't update. What the hell? That is a bug again. That is super weird. Sure, we can change them here while we are in the model space in the layout. I can force them to be in the text layer. I don't know why that happens. And now I messed it up. I messed up the scale. That's fine. We just kind of zoom into it. Zoom, enter, Z, enter, O, enter. Zoom into it. Double click out. Select the frame, properties, and change the scale again to 1:50. It's so super strange that it isn't that reactive. It didn't have these kind of bugs in previous versions. I assume you will not have these bugs if you're working with an older version. Anyway, the lines themselves, I want to change some properties of them. So I'll go to, or the axis lines, I'll go to layer properties. And here where I see axis, first of all, I'll change the color of them, and I'll change the color to probably dark red color. Let's just hope that it kind of works. Oh, need to be inside of the model space. Layer properties. Here we change the axis layer color to dark red. There we go. So that is done. But also, while I'm at it, I don't want this to be a solid line. I want this to be a dashed line. So I will mess around with the line type, right? The viewport, or yeah, viewport line type, right? So while I'm still here, where I see VP line type, I'll click on this continuous name here for the, wait, am I in the helper? No, for the axis continuous, and I'll load a line type that I want. And in this case, for these particular lines, I want it to be dash dot, long dash dot, that is used for the axis, right? So I'll just hit OK. So now it got imported and we can use this line type, right? And I'll just choose it and use OK. And now I can see that my line types have been updated and now they are dash dotted. You can change the line type scale, but I wouldn't suggest doing it if it works. Okay, so we have this going on. That's great. Let's jump into the section right here. And we kind of need to add the grid lines to the section as well. So I'll go back to the model space. My battery ran out of the camera. This is a long tutorial. Just give me a second. New battery, please. There we go. Should be good. So section, right? The way you add grid lines to the section once you have them in the plan is super simple. You just grab the ones that you already have made in the correct direction and you just copy them down, perfectly down, like so. That's it, that's done. That's done, because these perfectly align, right? You will not be seeing grid lines A and B in the section naturally. Then there's some change, and here it actually updates. I don't know. So here we need to change the display as well of these grid lines. So I'll go to layer properties. Well, double click layer properties, and here I will just change from the axis color to be that dark red color that I wanted, and the line weight or line type, VP line type, I will change, wait, line type, there we go, VP line type, I will change to dashed. Okay, that is done. And that is it. Okay. Okay. So we don't need to do anything with this. This looks fine. This looks fine. Oh yeah, and double click out of it so that you don't accidentally zoom in to the drawing. Now one last thing before we plot everything out is adding dimensions. And I'll start with the plan as per usual. I'll create a new layer called dim. Just kind of name it dim for dimensions, and I will make it red in this case. Or we are using red color, so let me make it orange. We are using pink. We are running out of colors here. Let's just have white then. That's fine. That's fine. So dimensions is going to be done in white color. Let's find it, dim. There we go. So dimensions, one last thing, right? If we go to the Annotate tab, here we have the settings for our text, for our dimensions, and whatnot. So there are presets already. So sorry, the dimensions tab is right here, right? Annotate tab, dimensions sub tab, right here, and there are preset dimensions that we can see here, and these are not that great. We want to make our own. So what I'm going to click on is this Manage Dimension Styles. So again, you click on this drop-down box and you choose Manage Dimension Styles right here, which will give you this table where I can create a new dimension, right? And I'm going to do that exactly that, new. I'll call it my cool dimension. And I'll start with whatever, either standard or ISO. You do not start with annotative though. That is something else. Do not tick mark annotative. The way annotative works is as you're zooming out, the dimensions will increase in size. So they are kind of locked in size in terms of millimeters. You don't really want that in this particular project. In larger projects, you do use annotative, but that's going to be later. That's going to be much later. Use for all dimensions, yes. Okay, so do this, hit continue. And this is where you kind of set up all of your dimensions. So the first thing is color. Color is going to be by layer. That's important. So all of your dimensions are going to be colored by the layer in which they are in. Then line type is going to be by layer, and line weight is going to be by layer. So we are controlling the dimensions through layer, not through block. Then you have baseline spacing. If I change this to 500, for instance, nothing happens. Whatever, then we ignore it. Is it a bug again? We'll see if it's a bug or not. You do have suppression though. So suppression is if you kind of change these things, you can see what changes here. So if we suppress dim lines, both of them, you don't see the arrows anymore, right? So we don't want that to happen. Extend beyond the dim lines. This is by the way in millimeters. So this is very small. If I change this to 10, you can see that these lines get extended much further. So here I'm just going to say, and this is where we're going to kind of start messing it up. For now, let's keep it at 10. We will come back to this. We will indeed come back to this. Everywhere where you see by block, you change to by layer. This is just the way you do it, by layer, right? We will come back to the extension in just a second, also to the offset. But for now, I want to change the symbols. So in architecture, we don't use arrows, we use dashes or ticks, architectural ticks, right? So the arrowheads are architectural ticks, the leader is architectural tick, or the leader can be a dot as well. That's fine. We can use a dot. For the arrow size, this is 2.5 millimeters in size. That is way too small because, you know, this is like 400 millimeters thickness. So we want the tick mark to be around 100 millimeters. And now you can see how it messes up the view. That's fine. We will fix it. Center marks, that we will not be working with center marks. That's fine. Arc length symbol, we don't care about anything else here. Yeah, so it's just these four things here. Then for the text, we will change the text height. So the text height right now is, again, oh, by the way, text color by layer, right? Text height, we will change this to higher text, of course. And we will use something around, I want to say 75 millimeters. I'll just do 75. And now we can see that we are back in business, right? So it's kind of back to what it was before. Text placement, I do want to offset it from, so it needs to be above the and centered to the dimension line. But I do want it to be offsetted above it a little bit more. So I'll just give it like, if the text size is 75, let's just offset it by 25. So it's kind of, it has a gap here. Text alignment aligned with dimension line, perfect, that's fine. Nothing else here. Fit. For the fit, the only thing that I change is text placement. If it doesn't fit in the dimensions, it needs to be over the dimension line with a leader. It's basically if text doesn't fit here, then it's going to kind of draw this line here, like an angled line, and it will show a text somewhere else. Then here you can see that it's like it's not full numbers, it's with a comma, and we are dealing with millimeters, so we don't do this. We need to kind of show only full numbers. So under primary units, where it says precision, I will change the precision to 0. So it only gives us full numbers. Okay, so we have that done. Tolerances, we don't care about. Alternative units, we don't care about. Do we care about anything else here? No, we don't. Okay, back to lines tab. Under extended them lines, I had it as 10. So 10 now is super small. I will have it as 100. So the ticks extend, the dimension lines extend by 100. All right, I think that's it. I think that is it. That's all we need to do. Let me double check. Yeah, everything seems fine. I'll just hit OK. My cool dimension is now my new created dimension style. I'll click close. I'll make sure that it's my active dimension style here. And now I can start adding dimensions. So in the top and on the side here, I want to add dimensions, and also I kind of want to anchor the dimensions to somewhere, maybe the corner here, or maybe this intersection between 1 and A is going to be my anchoring point. That's fine. So these guys will have dimensions anchored to the axes, while on this side, I can just kind of add some additional dimensions here and there that I want to showcase. Maybe I won't. Maybe just for the windows. Let's do it. So my cool dim is my active dimension, and here I have two options for the dimension styles. Well, there's actually more options here because if you want an aligned dimension, you can have that as well. I will show you all of them, or at least 3 of them. So linear dimension is basically, if I click on it, and I click on first point, click on the second point, drag it out, you know, that is a linear dimension. So the thing about linear dimension is that it can only go either horizontally or vertically, right? It can't go at an angle. If I want it at an angle, I need to use what's called an aligned dimension. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ah, there it is. Okay. So we click on the small icon right next to linear dimension, expand it, and we can see aligned dimension here. If I select aligned and I click, then it creates this angled dimension, right? So for this particular building, we won't need any aligned dimensions. Just know that you can have those. I will just be using linear from here to here. And if you want to have, if you don't want to kind of keep repeating the dimension command, you can use continue, this tool right here, which basically just will continue on from the last dimension that you've done. And you can just kind of then only click once. And once you're done, you just hit enter. And it's going to add the dimensions, right? So then I'm usually the way I do it is I create a single linear dimension. And then if I want to continue from it, I just click on continue and then do it that way. Now for the for some additional anchoring, I will do a linear dimension between the corner of the building to the axis 1. That is going to be 400 millimeters. Then I'll continue it until the start of the window, then until here, and then I'll kind of continue it all the way through to the end of the building, like so. So now I have registered these 2 corner points here and also the position of the window according to those 2 corner points. And I'll do the same thing here. A single linear dimension from here to here, or sorry, my bad. First of all, from here to here, then continue it until here, and actually just until here. We don't need to anchor it to here, or do we? Well, maybe we can. Why not? So that's done. That is done. If we look at it in the plan view, that is how it looks like. And again, in the plan view, it's not showing. Oh yeah, that's fine. It doesn't need to show up as red for now, but I will double click inside. I will go to the layer properties tab, and for dimensions, I will change their color to red, like that. Ooh, okay, so that's done. That is done. Now for the section. So for the section, typically you do have dimensions here, but since this is such a small project, I will not be adding them. But what you do have is you have elevations, right? You mark out different altitudes for different things. So we won't have a lot of elevations here. We will have one here. I'll just kind of draw lines here. There's going to be an elevation here. And I want an elevation here, but that doesn't really matter. And an elevation here. Well, yeah, and elevation showing what's 0. What do we consider to be 0, right? So these are the elevations that I want to mark out. And for that, I first need a markup of the elevations. So there are different styles of markups. The one that I like using is this. So we start drawing from the horizontal line, and I'll just do like 500 mil. That's too large. Let's do 250 millimeters, like so. So we just have like this horizontal line that's 250 millimeters. Then I'm going to draw down by let's say 50 millimeters, like that. This is going to be my helper line, and this is enough for me to this amount of lines is enough for me to draw out my markup. So let me do it real fast. Polyline tool, from this left hand side point to the end to the bottom, then we move across up like that, and we extend it like so. Right? So this is, you can treat this polyline basically as an arrow showing looking downwards, right? And then I'm just gonna borrow a number here, since I already have it. Move like that, and I'm just going to kind of change the layer of the number to dimensions, double click on it, and change it to plus x point x, or 3 x's, right? That is how altitudes are written. While dimensions are written in millimeters, altitudes are always written in meters with 3 digits after the comma. This is how you distinguish between what's an altitude and what's an elevation, or what's a dimension rather. So let me copy this. From this point, I will want to show this point here. I will want to show this point here. I will want to show this point here. And you can see the graphical problems that we will have. I will fix them. I will want to show this point here, point on the ground, and this point right here. Right, so let's get rid of the helper lines now. Like that. No need for that, and that. Oh, and that. And now let's start kind of cleaning everything up. So this guy right here intersects with the building, so we don't want that. I will just move it to the side, and I will create one more line segment that kind of does its thing like so. And for this one, the same thing, but in this case, it doesn't need to extend too much, a little bit more, like that. Line segment, drag it out like so. Everything else is okay. Everything else is not in the way. So now let's add the numbers, right? So always the floor plate, like the top of the floor, is 0.000. So it's neither plus nor minus, it's actually plus minus, right? So I will, how do you, I forgot how to insert a special character. Oh no. Well, if you don't, if you can't use a special character, you can always do this, plus minus. That works as well, 0.000, right? That is our starting elevation, and that is our floor plate. Then I know that this is, let me just, actually I don't, let me measure the distance. This is 1.1 meters above the floor plate, right? So this is going to be plus 1.100, right? That's the altitude. And this one is going to be, again, measure distance from here to here, 2750. So it's going to be plus 2.750. Then here we will have probably, I'll just measure this, 700. So 3450. 34. Feels weird. Wait, is it really 3450? Yes, it is. Okay. And then this height right here, distance from, let's see, this line to here, 2300 plus 2.300. And the last one here, it's going to be, I remember I just moved it by 5 centimeters down, so it's going to be negative, right? Minus 0.050. That's it. That's all of the elevations. Let's look at them in the section. That's how they look like in the section, and I want to change their colors in the section as well. So I'll go to layer properties, double click. Don't forget to double click. Go to layer properties, dimension. And here, just change it to whatever color we're using. We are using red color for these markups. Double click out. We're good to go. Okay, so we have our plan, we have our section, and all of them have dimensions. Okay. Last thing to do is to actually plot this out, right? To create a PDF. Or actually, let me, I'm now scared that I'm rushing and I will forget something important. So let me just double check. Match properties. Okay, that's one that we can that I can show you as well. One last trick, I guess. If you have, let's say, a line here, right? Come on, a line, right? And it's in dimensions layer, and you want to change its layer. You can match properties, MA. Shortcut for it is MA, and then you choose source object. So let's see this guy right here, right? And then you just click on the object to which you want to match the properties to, like that. And it's going to move it in the same layer as the source and change its all of the properties to be the same of the source. Usually it's used for hatches. If I have a hatch, you know, something like this, and I want to make it exactly the same as this, I can match properties, MA, enter, from this hatch to this hatch, right? So it just kind of matches these two hatches together. Quite useful, quite a useful little tool. No, we are not still plotting it out. I haven't told you about the, I haven't done one last thing, which is adding dashed lines. Here we won't have any dashed lines, will we? Almost nothing is above, but here we will have a dashed line because there's like a cupboard above, and that cupboard is going to be a little bit thinner than the block here. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'll change to dashed. So this layer will have all of the dashed lines. And I'll change the dashed lines color to also yellow. Let's go for yellow. That's fine. And in the line type, I will change. Actually, I will change it here in the line type. I will change it to I'll load it, and I'll change it to just ISO dash. Okay. Choose it. Okay. And now we have a dashed layer that's yellow and that has a line type of the dash, right? The dash. So now in that layer, dash layer, I'll just create a polyline here. That's going to go all the way to here, and we can kind of do this. That would look pretty cool. Nah, let's stick to it. 350, let's say, like that, and that. So this is basically a cupboard above, and you can see it's dashed, but the dash is very, very thin. Let's see if it's actually so thin in the plan here, and it's not, right? That's because, well, you don't really see it, do you? It's super yellow. So let me change the color of it to black. There we go. So it is dashed here, right? Oh, messed it up. By the way, if you can't zoom out or click out of the model space as you're in the viewport, you can always click here where it says model. You can click on it, and then you are going to be in the paper space, right? So you don't necessarily need to click out. So let me fix this again. Come on. Z, enter, O, enter. Double click out. Select this. Properties. Keep messing it up. I just keep messing it up. 1 to 50. What's that? That's done. Okay. So now that's a dashed line right there. Whew. Last thing, thicknesses. Right? Everything right now is the same thickness. We don't want that. We want the thicknesses to be different. And I will use global values rather than local values for thicknesses. So I'll do that in the model space rather than individually or separately in every layout. So I'll go to the layer properties tab here, and thicknesses are controlled through line weights. So the thinnest line that you can have, which still prints out by most of the plotters, is 0.09 millimeters. Anything thinner than that, some older printers will have problems with it. And by older, I mean printers that are used a lot. So in the school, for instance, anything lower than 0.09 will not print out that well. When I say 0.09, I mean 0.09 millimeters. So those will not print out that well. So instead, we are going to lock our smallest distance or smallest thickness of the line to 0.09. And then everything besides it, we will kind of keep increasing in thickness in regards to that. There's something else that I wanted to mention. Oh, right. If you're printing with white lines above black background, so white on black, then your thickness of the lines needs to be a little bit thicker because there is a little bit of color bleed, right, of the black color. So if your lines are too thin, they will get eaten up. So if you're printing with white on black, I would suggest the smallest line thickness to be 0.12 millimeters rather than 0.09. So here with the line weights, let's go to town with them. So axes are usually very thin. So I'll use 0.09 on them. Dashed line is also a thin one. I'll use 0.09. Definition points, I have no idea what those are. We ignore them. Dimension lines are usually a little bit thicker. So I'll use 0.13. Hatch depends on your style, but I prefer using very thin lines, 0.09. Helper, we are not using helper layer. We're not printing with the helper layer, so we don't care. Inner, that's inner lines for the trees. Those can be super thin, 0.09. Then we have layout text. That can be a little bit thicker, 0.15. Medium line thickness needs to be thicker than all of these. So I'll choose 0.2. No print, that's important. Remember we created the no print layer? That one shouldn't be printed, so we control it through the line weights. We scroll down, we don't scroll down, we scroll up and we see 0.00, right? That's the no print, basically lines that don't have any thickness. So no print will have 0.00. Outer line for these things will probably be medium, so same as medium, so I will use 0.2. Text can be somewhere in between, something close to dimensions. So dimensions are 0.13, so let's use that, 0.13 for the text. Thick lines, I will go for 0.4, so double the thickness of the outer lines. And thin lines are of course thin, 0.09. Yeah, let's see. Let's take a look. You can't really see it here. We need to start plotting it out for you to actually see it, right? So let's plot everything out. Shortcut for plotting stuff out or exporting PDFs is P. No, I lie, it's not P. Just write plot, I guess. Plot, enter. It will ask you for this. We noticed that you have multiple drawings. is available for plotting multiple sheets at once. What do you want to do? So you can either plot out all of them at once, or you can plot them out one by one. For this particular purpose, I will be plotting them out one by one, just so that I can show you how you can combine them with the online tools into one PDF, right? So I will say continue to plot a single sheet, right? But you can use try batch plot. You can use that as well. So I'll continue. It's going to kind of give me this plot settings again. And I can actually click on preview here to see how it's going to look like. Produced by Autodesk student version. Great. So yeah, that's education version right there. So we are going to be plotting out this, right? I just click the close button. I hit OK. And I'll just plot it to my desktop. Let me just create a new folder here. I'll just call it plot raw. Plot raw. Why are you crashing again? Location is not available. It is. It's right here. Oh my God. PDF document, sure. I'll call it, we're plotting out the plan, so I'll just call it plan. Hit save. And it's done. And I can kind of take a look at it right here. Desktop, plot raw, plan. Double click that. For some reason rotated. That's whatever. Why is it rotated? You shouldn't be rotated. Don't be weird. Let's see. It's landscape format. That's fine. What if I use a different plotting technique, Adobe PDF? And I plot it this way. I'm just kind of checking what works more stable at this point. So I'll overwrite it, and I need to close this to be able to override it. Let's see if Adobe PDF will do us good. Definitely slower, definitely slower. Come on, you can do it. It's not a big project. Oh my God, man. Oh, there we go. It's also rotated. Okay, so that's weird, but that's fine. We can have it rotated. That's okay. So we have that. Then let's do the section. By the way, shortcut, even faster shortcut is Control P. Continue, plot. I'll just use the regular one, hit OK. That's section, save. And then for axo, Control P, plot, A3, okay, axo, save. And of course you will have more. You will have the title page as well, but I'm curious to see what you'll come up with. So I will not be showing you the title page. Let me just save this file just in case it crashes again. So we have these three. We have the plan right here. We have the axo right here, and we have the section, which I mispronounced right here, right? Everything seems to be in order, even though it's a little bit messy. Then what you can do, honestly, like I shouldn't probably be showing you this, but what you can do is you can open them up in Photoshop. Let me just really quickly, show you how to kind of connect this to the previous course that we had. So let's open up Photoshop. I'll just take all three of these drag and drop them in as copies, and I will, as I have dropped them in, it's going to ask me for how do I want to import this. Very important to have media box set as cropping rather than bounding box. That's very important. Everything else is whatever. Is it okay? Then here, media box, okay. And here, media box. Okay, so we have now them opened up in Photoshop, which means that here I can mess around with them. I can go to image, image rotation, counterclockwise, image, oops, that's canvas size, that's bad. Image rotation, counterclockwise, image rotation, counterclockwise. So I have them like rotated back to normal orientation, and I also can add like create a new layer, drag it below the existing layer, grab the white color, shift F5 to fill, and basically just create white background that way. So I'm gonna do the same thing for all of them, like that. Like that. And also I can, while I'm at it, I can come in here and I can kind of select the Autodesk student version thing and just, no, this was done with a professional version, right? No, it's a normal professional version. Oops. Control D or Control Z. There we go. This one will need a little bit more precision. Delete that. A little bit of crap is left there, but the teacher will not notice, trust me. Delete that. Delete that. And the last one, delete that. Okay, so that is cleaned up. While I'm here, I can kind of, ooh, you can still see a little bit of the border. No. We delete the border. There we go. So I messed up a little bit there. Apparently, that particular plotting technique still keeps like a tiny bit of the border. That's fine. There's also an option for you to go in here. Where is it? Go in here, select this object, and I believe there needs to be like no print option here. Yeah, there we go. So there's also like this whole segment here where we can change the border, the no print layer, to be actually no print, like so, right? If you click on this, it's not going to be printed out. That's something to know. So it's either changing it to 0.000 millimeters in thickness or not printing it out altogether. Apparently, 0.000 doesn't always work, which is news to me. It used to work. I feel old. Oh yeah, axle. We need to clean up the axle. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Nope. I am deleting the wrong things. Or rather, the wrong layer. There we go. There we go. There we go. And now precision. Precision. There we go. Good enough. Good enough. What else can we do with this? I don't really want to do anything more with this. You could, while you're in Photoshop, you could kind of add color, texture, or whatnot to it, but I don't really want to do it. What I want to do is clean this bad boy up. So this is actually, this shows very well the difference between vector graphics and raster graphics. See how the lines are not infinite in resolution anymore? This is because we're dealing with them in Photoshop, right? and Photoshop works with pixels. So these three are now cleaned up. I'll just save them. Just Control S to save. Choose Photoshop PDF. I'll go to my desktop, plot raw, and I'll just kind of override them. Or let's just do AXO clean like that. I will not be saving the layer, so I'll untick that. I'll hit save. Hit OK. Everything else here is fine. Hit save. And same thing here. PDF, plan, clean, no layers, save. Section, PDF, section clean, no layers, save. Okay, we're almost there. Last thing is combining them. So you can either combine them with Adobe PDF by just kind of selecting all three of them, or Acrobat Reader, selecting all three of them, right-clicking on them, and choosing Combine Files in Acrobat. So if you don't have that option, right? If you don't have that option, then you need to use the website Combine PDFs Online, which is also super neat. Drop your files here. AXO plan section. There we go. Drag and drop them in. It's uploading. It's done, and now I can kind of arrange them. So first I want the plan, then I want the section, then I want the AXO, and then I just click on combine. And now it's downloaded here. Go in folder. My computer is just not up to par today. Come on, you can do it. It's just opening a folder. There we go. So we have that, and I'll just add it to the plot raw folder, sure. And I'll say AADA05, Kiridakis, Gediminas, right? Then I will, I can either email it to myself and use the how is it called? Remote student desktop to log into one of the computers and open up the email from the computer in the school and upload it to the server from there, which is a viable solution and super easy to do. Or I can just simply, if you are a little bit more technology focused, I guess, you can just connect to the VPN, and then you will have access to the servers. This is a little bit harder to do though. But then you just kind of go to the temp folder, unprotected, and then you just simply drag and drop in your file. That's it. You have successfully finished the course, right? Let's look at the file. This is how it looks like. The thicknesses of the lines are okay. They're not spectacular, but they are fine. I would probably, if I needed to kind of readjust them, I would probably increase the thickness in some cases. Let's look at it at 100%. I would increase the thicknesses in certain cases. The hash is fine. The thin lines could be a little bit thicker though. And the medium line could be a little bit thicker. Other than that, this is okay. That's the section. Section is okay. Section looks fine. And the AXO looks great. Simple, minimalist. I like it. Right, that is it. Hope you will have fun finishing up the project. I know it's a lot of information in the last bit, of these tutorials, but that is all of the information that you need to produce any kind of project, honestly. So that's great. Now, once you're done with the course, you are full-fledged architects. Just kidding. Anyway, go and have fun with the projects. I'll see you next time. Bye.